Okay, so we do have a new Mercedes G-wagon for 2025, but you need to look very closely to see what is actually new, specifically for the exterior design. There are a couple of tweaks to this. They say to make it more aerodynamic, and that's for the G-wagon, which is essentially a box on wheels. And the reason we want to have it more aerodynamic is because they're coming out with the electric version of this in a minute. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to try to show you what the differences are in the new G-wagon compared to the old one, even though, as I said, it's very hard to see from a front, side, and rear, and also the beautiful looking interior. I think the thing is, this is already a perfect design to me. I love the retro vibe, and I'm glad that they kept this for the new refresh as well. So before we jump into Photoshop, have a look at the design. Let's talk about some of the spec and tech here from Car and Driver. 2025 Mercedes-Benz G550, I mean, swaps V8 for Turbo 6 with more horsepower and less torque. Everything is fine there. We can still have a twin turbo V8 in the G550 because the G63 still has the V8. So the 2025 Mercedes-Benz G-Class is refreshed with better aerodynamics that pave the way for the anticipated electric variant. The G550 trades its old 416 horsepower V8 for a new 443 horsepower Turbo 6. So you got more power, but you also get less torque. More on that in a minute. And then you have the G63, which retains its 577 horsepower V8, but now also adopts a 48-volt hybrid system. Great! It's going to add a little bit more weight to the car, but I do love these Mercedes hybrid systems. I do think they work fantastic. Restyling is very, very subtle. It includes a reshaped A-pillar. I'm going to show you what's new with the A-pillar. It's a very subtle change. Redesigned front and rear bumpers, and a subtle spoiler on the leading edge of the G-Class roof. And we also have new wheels. This is the G550 that we're looking at here, the blue one. I do like these wheel designs, and as I've said before, Mercedes and wheel design just crush it every single time. However, we don't have the old awesome looking AMG wheels, not at least from the press photos. They switched that up. We're gonna have a look at that in the side view in Photoshop also in a minute. So 416 horsepower twin turbo V8 is gone now and replaced by a 3-liter turbocharged. It's actually not twin turbocharged, it's just turbocharged 3-liter straight 6. That's good for 443 horsepower. And you lose some torque here. 37 pound-feet of torque is lost when you switch to the straight 6, but that's fine because you got 27 more horsepower, so it's all good. The G63, as I said, has the same twin-turbo V8. 577 horsepower and a lot of torque here. The G63 also, I think the biggest changes here, which is a great refresh, it all comes down to the tech, what's underneath this boxy, beautiful, legendary body. So you have a lot of new tech here. If you want to read all of this, I'm going to link this article, as I said, in the description. But some of the highlights is you now have available adaptive suspension system called AMG Active Ride Control, which I thought the G63 for its price range already had. You also have AMG Off-Road Package Pro, AMG Tracking Pro drive mode, and also AMG Active Balance Control. The interior gets some more tech as well. For example, an updated 360 camera system that now can display what's underneath the G-Class. And this is also something that I already thought that the G-Class had, because Range Rover or Land Rover had that for a while now. And this is very G-Class here. You have a climate-controlled front cup holders, which is great if you have cooled or hot drinks, coffee. You want to keep it hot for longer. You just, I guess, heat it up in the cup holders. Two 11.6-inch touchscreens mounted on the front seat backs. These are optional, so you can stream some YouTube videos back here as a passenger. Is pretty cool. And Mercedes says that the 25 G550 and the G63 will reach US dealerships in the second half of this year. And the pricing, this is a G-Wagon, so you don't really surprised when you hear these prices. The G550, current one, starts at $144,000, and the G63 starts at $184,000, and we do expect a slight increase in price for the 2025 model year here. So let's jump into Photoshop here, and I need your help here because, as I said, it's very hard to spot the differences here. And Mercedes, I saw a statement from Mercedes. They said that the new one, so we have the new one. Maybe I should make that clear first. The new one is down here in all of these slides we're going to look at. Mercedes said that they do have new headlights. So look at the old headlights here and look at the new headlights. I can't really see the difference between these two type of light bulbs or light assemblies that we have here. They look the same to me, but what's new here is you see they said the A-pillar has been changed. So you see on the current one, the 2024, we have this rubber wraparound, almost like a cage going around the entire outside of the G-Wagon, which is good for protection. It looks cool, it looks very rugged and functional. I also like that they added these new modern side mirrors onto this very classic boxy design. And that is also, of course, something that we have in the 2025. But look at this rubber piece here, how it goes down in the A-pillar on the 2024. And that is indeed the change that they did for the 2025 model year. We don't have the same rubber piece now going down here. And I guess that is Mercedes' way of improving the aerodynamics for the G-Wagon, just to remove that little trim piece on the A-pillar and not have the wind get stuck here like it could do here with this piece. So as you can see, these are the type of changes that we're gonna go through here on the G-Wagon. And I do love that Mercedes did these type of changes, because as I said, I love the design of this G-Wagon. I think it's a fantastic, modern, comfortable luxury SUV with this very old school styling. It still looks like a 70s car. We also have a brand new bumper here. You can see the old bumper looks pretty similar to the 2025, but the internal pieces, for example, these air intakes here, or these pieces, are now slots in the G63. We're gonna focus on the G63 in this video, but those are the only changes that I am able to spot. We also have a blacked out badge in the front end. I'm not sure if that was an option for the old G63, but I do think it looks great having it blacked out like this. And also these slots make it look more aggressive, I think, to have these 3 vertical slots instead of just having it be honeycomb pattern or mesh for the grills. Another detail I've always loved about this G-Wagon is that we have the indicator light sitting up on the fender itself. Very, very cool little detail for the G-Wagon. Now looking at side view here and the wheel design, you see the wheels here. I love these old Mercedes AMG wheels, and I also like that they put it on the G-Wagon. Yes, they are of course on the sportier side, but how many of G-Wagon owners actually take specifically the G63, how many of them take them off-road versus how many take them just to Starbucks and back, which means you can actually have some sportier wheels onto this, even though you always know that what you're sitting is always capable of taking you on some rugged trails, should you decide to do that. But I do like these AMG wheels. The new one, it feels like they went a little bit more rugged looking or off-road looking. This is probably a package for the AMG. You have the roof rack up here as well, which is also an option. You have the ladder at the back, looking very cool. I do like that you can have the G63 now in this more off-road camp configuration with the different more functional looking wheels for off-roading, and also this roof rack and a bunch of other details on the car. But I haven't seen a new press photo with these old school AMG, and I wouldn't call them old school, they just look great, these old AMG wheels. We still have the exhaust pipe right here at the very bottom, also a cool feature of the G-Wagon. And they said that they had some sort of spoiler up top on the roof in the article. I'm not entirely sure what they're talking about there for the 2025 model year. Something up here is changed for the new 2025 G-Wagon, and I can't seem to see exactly what it is that is changed. Now looking at the rear view here, before we jump into the interior, so the rear view, I saw this in the same statement from Mercedes. They said that the taillights were new. Down here is the new 2025 model year. They were also new for the 2025 model year. But if we look at these taillights, we have an LED, very simplistic style, going around here in this U shape. Looks like we have the exact same taillight here. I might have misunderstood what they actually said, but I'm pretty sure a representative from Mercedes said that the taillights are new in the 2025 as well. These are a different type of wheels you can have for the new 2025 G-Wagon, the G63, and I do prefer these over these off-road looking wheels, because I think if you have the 63, that is a high performance version, obviously. So I do want to have more sporty attributes on the exterior, and I do think these wheels, even though they don't look anywhere near as good as the old G63 wheels, I still prefer these over the more off-road looking wheels. But other than that, I really, again, I can't see any differences here in the rear. And they also say that they have a new bumper here, and look at all the details here. We have this plastic piece going here, wrapping around like two ribbons. We also have this reflector light, and if we look at the new one, it essentially looks to be the exact same bumper. So I'm not entirely sure again what it is has changed here. Very boring video today, and I'm sorry for that, because there really aren't a lot of changes going on in the G63 here. It's still a very, very interesting looking design. One of the best, one of the coolest SUVs out there. I wouldn't call this beautiful, but just the fact that it's so inspired by the old G-wagons and still in production today with an interior that looks this modern and this luxurious. To me, this is the perfect combination. This is what I want to see a lot more car companies do with old legendary models. Just bring them back like Mercedes have done here with the G-Wagon for so long now. Up top, we do have the 2019 or 2024 up to 2024. Down low, we do have the new 2025. And what you can see, the big changes here is going to be the steering wheel design. Even though the old one was a fantastic looking steering wheel, I do prefer this new black one. Specifically, these spokes, silver here, look great. It feels very upscale. This is probably metal. I hope it is for this price range. But we also have a new centerpiece, which looks more like a ball now, instead of having it be more flat like we had here. And I do prefer this type of styling for the steering wheel. And look at this. Why can't Mercedes have this integration of their screen in every model? It doesn't just have to be the rugged G-Wagon that has a beautiful framing for it like this. You can see how deep this dash sits in the dash. And this is exactly what I want to see in pretty much every single model that has big dual screens like this, which is probably 80% of all brand new cars. Just have a cap for it like this. It looks so much better than to just have it be floating here without any sort of connection. I don't mind this integration at all. I do think it looks fantastic to have dual screens in this case, simply because we do have a nice framing for it and it sits deep in the dash. We have some carbon fiber here, manufacture. You can see that right there with this turquoise exterior color coming back in the interior. And this piece, beautiful as well. This is why I love this interior, because we do have a lot of modern features, dual screens, for example. We still have the housing for it, and we still have, if we look down here, a lot of physical knobs and buttons. You also have the rear locker buttons right here in the middle. It's just a stunning looking interior. It has everything that I want to see in a brand new interior, and these are the type of refresh that I want to see from Mercedes, specifically for such a legendary model like the G-Wagon. Just update the tech, keep the original styling of it, and I'm sure this is still going to sell just as well as the current G-Wagon does.